Imagine that you have a tank on your back, rather like the oxygen tanks that deep sea divers wear. Now, this tank on your back contains love energy. So when you go out into the world and love other people and do loving things, your love energy goes down, rather like oxygen goes down. When you look after yourself, you care for yourself, you romance yourself, you enjoy time with yourself, and you make love to yourself. When you do that, the love tank replenishes and becomes full again. So you have more loving energy to go out and love the world. All love is love. All love is love, no matter what direction it's flowing in. But the self-care love is extremely important in order to recharge us. Otherwise, every time we're going out and doing a loving act for other people, we're getting depleted and depleted and depleted. And it's like running on a really low level. And a lot of us manage that for years. A lot of us manage running on a low level, going out and being genuinely loving, but it's so draining. And we get ill, and we get depressed, or all sorts of other things can happen. So you have to refill your love tank. Now, that includes sexual energy. So sexual energy is self-love energy. It's extremely powerful. And we're going to talk about why, or one of the reasons why, in a minute. But lovemaking with yourself, however you interpret that, is important. It's very important. So I want to tell you about one of my favorite experiments. It's to do with oxytocin, which is a chemical that we release during climax. It's a chemical that makes us feel really good after sex. And a group of researchers in 2007, they took a large group of people, of participants, and they gave half of that group a shot of oxytocin. Now, the other half of that group, they didn't give anything. And when these people all sat down, these participants sat down and played a game involving money, fake money, but involving money, the group that had had the shot of oxytocin were 80% more generous than the other group. So when you make love with yourself, or when you take care of yourself erotically, when you allow that for yourself and you give that to yourself, you generate energy of generosity. It doesn't mean that you're not generous already. It just means you get this energy to become actually more generous. So when people tell us that solo sex is shaming, what I think they're often telling us is that doing something for ourselves is shaming. We have to ignore that. Or we can say, actually, when I make love to myself, I become more generous for the rest of the world. I also want to talk a little bit about pearl diving as a metaphor. Some of you may have heard of this. Sometimes pearl diving has been used to describe masturbation, making love to ourselves. The tradition in Japan for pearl diving goes way back to the 19th century. The women who dive, and they still dive today, are called the ama. Now, ama literally translates as sea woman, but also they are colloquially known as mermaids. I kid you not. So, still today they dive, and they dive up to 100 feet on a single breath of air. Pretty amazing. Now, the reason that they're women who do this job and that men don't do it is because back in the 19th century, it was traditionally believed that women had a greater lung capacity than men. So, of course, women went out there and got a stronger lung capacity anyway and did the job. These days, they still collect shells, but they also collect seafood delicacies. And often the community of pearl divers, of ama, get together after their diving and they feast on whatever they've caught. It's a community together, which is rather like the mermaid voyage, with us looking after ourselves, but also sharing and celebrating as a community. So I like this. I also like the pearl diver metaphor, the idea of the ama, because it's all about going deep. And I think for too long, we've been told that that part of ourselves does not run deep. We've been told that it's only about something physical. We've been told that it's only about something material, and it's something that we should resist, like something evil. Now, I think a lot of us have heard those kinds of stories about our sexual selves. When actually, if you think about the experiment, actually, it's extremely deep what we do for ourselves when we make love to ourselves. And we have proof, we have evidence for that. Because what is released, what is made, what is generated when we make love to ourselves is giving energy. We make giving energy. Now, I don't think anyone's going to say to us that creating giving energy is in any way not deep. In actual fact, I think it's one of the deepest things that we have in this world because it's all about love, isn't it? And love must be the deepest thing. I can't think of what is deeper than love. So just as the ama dive deep, we hope that you will dive deep. And we hope that you will enjoy diving deep this 3 days in a community rather like the ama. But the important thing to remember is that you are generating love energy and you are looking after yourself. And those two things are exactly the same. Pretty deep, huh? Okay, so we hope that you will enjoy these deep waters that we share together, and that's it from me for now.